Okay, on number one, this is the equation and inequality review. And we must show all work. A new hard drive costs $225 plus a $40 per hour for labor. The linear equation y is equal to 40x plus 225 gives the cost y in dollars for x hours of labor. If Jane has $385 to spend on the computer repairs, what is the maximum number of hours the computer technician can work? So maximum meaning that it can't go over this, right? So I have $225 plus 40 per hour is less than or equal to 385. First thing I do is subtract the 225 that is not connected to the variable, and I get 160 here and 40x here. This is less than or equal to 160. Next step is to divide both sides by 40, which gives me x is less than or equal to 4. So yes, x can equal 3, x can equal 2, but the most that they can work is 4 hours. Number 2, the number of quarters in John's collection is 10 more than 5 times the number of nickels in the collection. John has 65 quarters in his collection. Which equation can be used to determine the number of nickels in John's collection? So if you think about this, I have 10 more than 5 times. So what does that look like? 10 more than 5 times the number of nickels in the collection. John has 65 quarters in his collection. Which equation can be used to determine the number of nickels in John's collection? Right? And so this is equal to 65. Alright, so we just have to decipher which one equals that. So this says 10 minus 5x, so that can't be it. This has 5x minus 10, so that's not it. This says 5x plus 10. I would agree with that one. And this has the x attached to the 10, and that's not the case. So I would go with B. Number 3, Mary has been saving her weekly allowance for the past 20 weeks. She started with $100 and now has $300. Which equation can be used to find the amount of money Mary receives for her weekly allowance? So she's been doing it for 20 weeks. She started with $100 and now she has $300. 20 weeks plus 100, and now she has 300. So which one of these says that? F says that she has $100 left right now, so that can't be it. G says 300 minus 100x. I believe the x is attached to the wrong number, so that's not it. This one says 300 is equal to 100 minus 20x. But she actually worked, right? So we wouldn't use the minus because it's her 20 weeks plus the $100 that she already had. So H would be my answer. 300, 100, 20x. Number 4. The theater club is selling tickets for the school play. They need to earn at least $500 in ticket sales to cover the cost of the production. The table shows the results of their lunchtime sales. Which inequality can be used to determine the number of tickets that need to be sold at the door to cover the cost of the production? The way I look at these tables is I have number of tickets and cost. So number of tickets and cost are going to multiply by each other, and number of tickets and costs are going to multiply by each other. And I have at least $500. Can I have more than $500? Yes. So I would write my symbol that way, or inequality. Right, and then I have 75 times 4 plus 4x is greater than or equal to 500. Right? Well, the problem with A is we're reading from right to left. And because we're reading from right to left, this symbol actually says greater than, right? Which is good. So I could possibly use A. So we'll put a question there. Here we're reading from right to left, and it says less than. Well, I have to be greater than, or at least $500. I could be greater than. And this one says less than, so I won't use that one. So the only two I have are A and D, because D says greater than as well, right? If I read from right to left, and this also has the cost in both and the number of tickets, right? So everything is included. So I would choose D and not A. Number 5. 300 students went on the field trip. 5 buses each had the same number of students, and 25 students traveled by car. Which equation can be used to find the number of students on each bus? So 5 buses had the same number of students, and 25 traveled by car. Which equation can be used to find the number of students on each bus? Right, so it said that 300 students went on a trip. So I have 5x in A plus 5, so this is 25x. This is the variable attached to the wrong number. On B, I'm subtracting the 25, but it's actually added, right? I'm supposed to add, not subtract, in order to get the total. I would subtract it to go to the other side, but I haven't done that yet. This says 5x plus 25 is equal to 300. That's what I came up with. So I'm going to agree with that one. And this is still subtracting out. So I would say no. So my choice would be C. Number 6. Jillian can spend at most $135 at the movies. At most looks like that to me. At most. She wants to buy 3 boxes of popcorn. So 3 boxes of popcorn and 2 boxes of candy. 2 boxes of candy. Right? Let's change these variables to represent popcorn and candy. Right? And that's going to equal less than or less than or equal to 135. So if I'm looking at this, so I'm working on number 6 still, but I got to go back and fix a couple of things. All right, so everybody was asking where these prices come from, right? So this is the ticket over here, and the ticket is worth $6. All right, so 6x would represent the tickets. And then we bought 3 boxes of popcorn and 2 boxes of candy. So that was 18 and 7, which equals $25. So that equals 25. So at this point we have 6x plus 25 is less than or equal to $135. So if I look at A, that says that the variable is on the 25, and that is incorrect information. B says that I'm subtracting the 25. That is incorrect information. C, I have 6x plus 25 is less than or equal to 135. That's what I came up with for my inequality, so I'm going to use that. And D is the same thing as I'm subtracting the 25, so that is incorrect information. Number 7. A sign showing how much Yellow Cab taxi charges is shown below. Violet has $10 and wants to know if she has enough money to get to the airport, which is 12 miles away. Which inequality can Violet use to determine if she has enough money? So, first of all, she has $10. So I'm looking for an inequality that says that I can't spend more than $10. So no matter what, G says that I'm going to spend more than $10. So that is incorrect information. Now the rest of them have less than, less than, less than, and equal to. So there are possibilities. We just got to figure out which one of the variables is attached to. J says that I'm less than or equal to $2, so that's not going to work. All right, so now I just have, I'm charging 75 cents per mile, and I have $10. That's basically what it looks like. And so for some reason I have a 2 plus 0.75x and a 2x plus 0.75. So if I was going to think right off the top of my head, I would think that F would be the answer. I'm just not sure, but we have to put the 12 in for x to see if it works. Right? So 2 plus 0.75 times 12 is less than or equal to 10. So if I multiply 0.75 times 12, I actually get $9. Right? And if I add $2 to that, is that less than or equal to 10? And I would say no. So which inequality can Violet use to determine if she has enough money? So I would say that this would be the correct one, but she doesn't have enough money. So I'm going to choose F. Just to make sure you understand that the $2 came from the $2 flat rate plus the 75 cents per mile. Alright, so F is definitely the right answer. But she does not have enough money because 11 is not less than or equal to 10. Alright, so number 8 says, in a math class, 5 chapter exams were given and a score of at least an 80 must be earned to get a B. Peter completed 4 exams with scores of 70, 85, 76, and 84. Which number line shows the scores that Peter can get on the 5th exam and earn at least a B? Alright, so the way I would look at this is I have to take 5 exams, right? And I have to average an 80 on each one. Well, if I take 5 times 80, I get 400 points. Right? And so my 4 tests that I've already taken, I could subtract the test from this. So that's 0, 10, and 3. So that's 330 minus 85. It's 10, 2, so 5. 12 and 2 is 4, 2. That's 245. So if I put 245 minus the 76 now, that's 15 and 3. So 15 minus 6 is 9. 13 minus 7 is 6. And bring down the 1. So that's 169. And then the last one, I would say 169 minus 84. And that gives me 85. So I have to score at least an 85 on the next test, which is B, because I want to score more, or at least an 85. But I can score more if I want to. All right, number 9 says the number line represents the solution to which situation? Well, let's find out what the number line actually says. Okay, so the number line says that x is less than or equal to 22. All right, so we got to figure out which one of these gives me an answer of x is less than 22 or equal to. So I got charges of 450 plus $30 per person, right? And Maria has $192. So how many people can Maria pay for? So it's less than or equal to 192. I don't see how this is going to answer the question. To be honest, I think that the X 30 for per person is too high, because if I do 22 times 30, I'm going to get like 660, and that's going to be way high. So we're going to take the F off the chart, right? All right, so let's do this. Let's do 30 plus 450 per person is less than or equal to $192. All right, I think that's probably going to be the correct answer, but we're going to put a question mark there because I don't know the answer yet, right? So we're going to set the two up that I think they're going to work, and then we're going to figure them out. So 450 plus $30 per person is less than or equal to 129. Well, F didn't work because 22, and when I put in 22 for this X, it gives me $660, and that's no way that's less than 129. All right, so we're going to do the last one. We're going to use 30 plus 450 per person is less than or equal to 129. So we have to solve those two equations for G and J. All right, so G, I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides. So I get 450 is less than or equal to 162. And that's X, right? So 450X. So 4.5X. Now if I divide both sides by 450, I get X is less than or equal to 36. So that's definitely not the answer. But let's confirm that J gives us 22. So if I subtract 30 from 129, I get 99. So we're going to have $4.50 X is less than or equal to 99. And I divide 99 by $4.50. That gives me X is less than or equal to, goodness. All right, and so 99 divided by $4.50 is 22. So J would be my correct answer. All right, you guys have seen number 10 before. Ron wants to rent a car. He has offered two payment options, which are shown in the table. Guys, start working with these tables. You need to learn how to put them together so you can make an inequality out of them. And it says it wants to be less expensive, less than. Less than looks like that. So it says option A, so we got a constant of 25 plus 15 cents per mile. And they want that to say is less than the constant plus 40 cents per mile. Alright, so let's find out if they're actually, which one is correct. So I'm going to subtract a 0.15x from both sides, and I get 0.25x over here. And then I'm going to subtract the 10 from both sides, and I get 15 over here. So my equation is now 15 is less than 0.25x. And so I have 15 is less than 0.25x. So I can automatically know what the answer is without even doing the math or the computation, because every one of them are equal to 60 or less than or greater than 60. So I know 60 is a factor. Okay, so my equation, when I solve it, looks like that. Right? And I read from right to left. And that says that x is greater than 60. So if I look at A, it says x, right, is greater than 60. So I'm going to choose A for my answer. Number 11 said on Saturday, Alicia worked at an ice cream stand for 6 hours and earned $43, of which 19 were tips. On Sunday, she worked the same number of hours and received $22 in tips. What were Alicia's total earnings on Sunday? Alright, so basically she worked 6 hours and earned $19 in tips, and that equals $43. Right? She said she earned $43. She had worked 6 hours but had $19 in tips. So if we subtract 19 from both sides, that gives me 424, and then I divide by 6, I get x is equal to 4. Alright, now the reason why I'm solving that is because I have to set up another equation for the $22 in tips. Alright, so if x equals 4, and what were Alicia's total earnings on Sunday? She worked the same number of hours and received $22 in tips. So she's getting paid $4 an hour. So we're going to do 6 times 4. And we're going to add 22 to that. And that is equal to 24 plus 22, which is $46. Alright, so look at number 12. It says the table shows the amount of money Joe has in his savings account each week. Right? If Joe started with $185 and continues to save $15 each week, after how many weeks would Joe have at least $600? So we started a table over here that we could continue, but we don't have enough room, so we're just going to write an inequality. We got 185 plus 15 per week, and I want at least $600. Alright, so I subtract 185 from both sides. Oops. And I get 408 or $15. So $415. Right? So this goes away and all this goes away. So now I have this equation left. 15x is equal to or greater than or equal to 415. So I'm going to divide both sides by 15, and I get 27.6 something, right? So if I work 27 weeks, I won't make enough money. So I have to round up and actually work 28 weeks. So we're going to move up to number 13. Same type of problem, right? Almost the same situation. We have to make at least, so that would be a greater than sign, $500. Right? Chantel started with $30, right? And continues with $20 a week. So subtract 30 from both sides, gives me 470. So 20 is greater than 400, or 20x is greater than equal to 470. So I'm going to take both sides and divide by 20. and I get X is greater than or equal to 23.5. So if we work 23 weeks, we won't make enough money, so I want to work 24 weeks. So my answer would be A. All right, number 14. All right, number 14 says, which situation can be represented by the equation 56 is equal to 2x minus 10? All right, so Sammy's age is 10 more than twice Ted's age. So that says that, and Sammy is 56. That says that 56 is equal to 10 more twice Ted's age. So that's not it. All right, Sammy's age is decreased by twice Ted's age. Is 10 decreased by twice Ted's age? So it's decreased by, no, that says that 10 is decreased by twice, and that's equal to 56. So that's equal to 56. Right? I'm going to come back to that one because I don't think that's it. So we'll put a question mark on B. Ted's age is, C says Ted's age is twice Sammy's age decreased by 10. There we go. Twice Sammy's age decreased by 10. And Sammy is, or Ted's is 56 years old. How old is Sammy? So I would agree with C. And then Ted's age is 10 less than twice. And that tells me that 10 less than twice sets it up like that. Let's see, 10 less than twice. All right, so now that I have a little time to look at this one, on C, it's saying that Ted's age is twice Sammy's age, decreased by 10, which is, I think, is still the same information. But then it tells you that Ted is 56 years old. All right, we really should be looking for Sammy's age. And how old is Sammy, right? Well, in order to find that, Ted's age is twice Sammy's age, decreased by 10 years. So I think that's all on one side. So that's going to be, yeah, that's going to be everything. So that's actually an increase on the other side. But if you write D, Ted's age is 10 less than twice Sammy's age. So Ted's age is 10 less than twice Sammy's age. So 2x minus 10 is equal to, and Sammy is 56 years old. So I'm going to go with D for now. All right, I came back to this one. I had a little brain fart. But Ted's age is 10 less than twice Sammy's. So if I took Sammy's age and multiplied it times 2, that's twice Sammy's age, right? That's 112. And then 10 less than twice Sammy's age, so that means that Ted would be 102 years old. And this information says that Ted is 33 years old, right? And the information that gives that information is C. So I came back to C. Sorry it took me so long. All right, let's look at number 15. So William had $500 in his bank account. He purchased textbooks for $285. He wants to spend the remaining amount of money on meals. He estimates that each meal costs $6. What is the greatest number of meals William will be able to buy? So the greatest number, right? So it means he can only spend $500. And he has $285 plus $6 for each meal. All right, so if I subtract 285 from each side, this goes away. and this is 5, 1, 2, and 6x. And if I divide both of these by 6, so 6 x divided by 6 and 215 divided by 6, I actually get x is less than or equal to 35.8. So in reality, it says what's the greatest number of meals I can buy? Well, I can't buy 0.8 of a meal, so I would say 35 would be the answer. Alright, number 16. Alright, so number 16 says the table shows N's grades on 2 science tests. Which inequality could be used to find the average grade N must score on the next 2 tests in order to maintain an average of at least 90? Alright, so I'm going to look at this. A says 4x, and so if x is the average score, that means, and I'm going to have to just score a 90. That's not going to give me all 4 tests put together. So I'm going to say A is wrong. I'm going to say B is wrong just because of the 90. And I'm going to say C is wrong because of the 270, because this doesn't give me an average score. Right? So I'm going to pick D, right? Because I know that 90 times 4 is 360. Right? And so if I take 178 away from 360, that leaves 182. And then I divide both sides by 2, and x is greater than or equal to a 91. And this said that I would have to have at least a 90 average. So that would give me a 90 average. Or at least a 90 average. It can be greater than 91. Also, when I go back and look at A and B, if I actually work the inequalities, they give me a negative scores. Like B gives me like a negative 88, and then I have to divide that by 2. So they're definitely not the answers. D is the most favorable one this time. Alright, so when we're looking at number 17, it says the table shows the amount of money that Jenkins Corporation spent for shuttle service. The total charge for each vehicle includes a $29 dispatch fee. The rate per mile varies for each vehicle. Which equation can be used to find the rate for service of the van? So if I'm looking at 40 miles and a total charge of $57, right? Just off the bat right here, I got total charge of $57. Well, this says a total charge of 42, so I'm going to get rid of that one. This says a total charge of 53. I'm going to get rid of that one. And this says a total charge of 29. But based on that reasoning, G would be the reasonable answer. But I want to make sure that the 40R, right, that's a rate per mile. And I got a $29 fee, right? So this said I had 40 miles. And so the rate per mile varies for each vehicle, right? Which equation can be used to find the rate for service of the van, right? So I'm going to 40 miles times a certain rate, and I had to find out what that rate is. So I would say G would be the answer. All right, number 18, determine the solution of the equation. M over 1.2 plus 5 is equal to a negative 1. All right, if you guys remember, I told y'all to get rid of that 1.2 just to multiply everything on top by 1.2, right? So if I multiply the m times 1.2, that takes care of that, so that leaves me m. And then plus, and whatever 5 times 1.2 is, which is 6, is equal to, and then 1.2 times a negative 1 is equal to a negative 1.2. So now I just have to say that m is equal to, and subtract 6 from both sides. That gives me a negative 7.2. That would be answer C. Number 19, Donovan had $40 when he went to the amusement park. All the games cost the same amount. After playing 3 games, he had $28 left. With the amount of money he had left, Donovan purchased 2 funnel cakes. Then he had $14 left. Use the equation 40 minus 3x equals 28 to determine the cost of playing 1 game, and the equation 28 minus 2y is equal to 14 to determine the cost of buying 1 funnel cake. Alright, so we're looking for 2 different answers, right? I got 40 minus 3x is equal to 28, and then a 28 minus 2y is equal to a 14. So we'll solve these real quick. I'm going to take and subtract 40 from both sides. That gives me weird numbers, but I'm going to use them. I got negative 3x and a minus 12. But when I divide by negative 3, I get x equal to 4. So D and C are gone. Now, if I subtract 28 from both sides, I get negative 2y is equal to a negative 14. Divide by negative 2, and I get y is equal to 7. So I would say B would be my answer. Number 20. Which value does not make the inequality? I had to move the screen down a little bit, so I'm just going to put this 3 back in here. And then I have to make the inequality 1/2 x minus 10 is greater than negative 4 true. So I just put 10 back in so half of 10 is 5, minus 10 is greater than negative 4. So is negative 5 greater than negative 4? I would say no. Then I put 12 back in. So 12 times half, or half of 12 is 6, minus 10 is greater than negative 4. Is a negative 4 greater than a negative 4? I would say no. Right? So I know that if that gave me negative 4, that if I put that 13 in there, it's definitely going to give me more than negative 4. And that's going to be greater than, it's probably going to give me like something like negative 3 something. Well, let's figure it out. Might as well do it. 13 is, half 13 is 6.5 minus 10 is negative 3.5, and that's definitely greater than negative 4. So that's true. Number 21. Mr. Nelson asked the students to give one value that makes the inequalities p over set 8 minus 2 is greater than 6. We had this before, and the kids are really struggling with the fact that if they put in Mindy, right, they're not understanding, but what's happening is they put in Mindy and they say, oh, I think that's right, right? And so what we get 8 minus 2 and 6 is greater than 6. Well, that is not true. So it can't be Mindy. It cannot be Mindy, because 6 is not greater than 6. But if I put in 72 for P and subtract 2, and I get 9 minus 2 is greater than 6, 7 is definitely greater than 6. I would say that is a true statement. So I would go with, it's supposed to be Rick, right? So we'll just go with Rick. Alright. We took out number 22. we'll address that at another time, but 22 is just a little bit too complicated. Alright, so let's look at 23. We're only going to have 2 of these questions on our test tomorrow. Right, we've already dealt with the first one here, number 23, but we're looking for 5x plus a 90-degree angle plus 65 is equal to 180. That line is equal to 180. Right, so if I add these two up, I get 155. So 5x plus 155 is equal to 180. And then I take 155 away from each side, and I get 5x is equal to 25. Well, that's what I'm looking for, right? I'm actually looking for angle A, which is 25. But in this instance, I need to find out exactly what x is. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5, and I get x is equal to 5. All right. Last question, what are the measures of angle 1 and 2? Well, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say that 62 plus 2x plus 8 plus 3x is equal to 180. I'm going to add like terms, so I'm going to add the 62 and the 8. I get 70 plus the 2 and the 3 x's. I get 5x is equal to 180. Subtract 70 from both sides, and I get 110 and 5x. So x is actually equal to whatever 110 divided by 5 is, which I believe is 22. So if I put 22 back in the 2x, I get 44 plus 8, which is equal to 52. And 3 times 22, so 3x is equal to 66. So I'm looking for angle 1 to be 52 and angle 2 to be 66, which is G.